people. I met their kids. They're nice people who go out of their way for anybody. And they put themselves out considerably for their entire core of Michigan riders. There are a lot of them, and they're all very capable people, and I'm glad they're all friends of mine now. But Brian is the center of what that whole core of the riders is, and he's the epitome of what our style of rider is. And to have a wife that supports him the way that she does in terms of emotionally and cares for him and supports what his endeavor is amazing. And she can sit in the passenger seat of that bike as long as any human being has ever sat down and done anything. And do it without, you wouldn't even notice she's there. But they're remarkable people. And that's similar to almost every single group all the way across in this Long Rider network of people.
So
But
what's first on your list for the new bike? Do you have a ride coming up?
first thing that I'm gonna do, I'm gonna fire it up. I'm gonna turn those heated grips on. And I'm going to enjoy what warm hands feel like in a cold environment. Now, the first thing I'm going to do, because Thanksgiving is looming, and my girlfriend has said that the turkeys need to die, so I'm going to, at that point, go home and kill some turkeys. Get Thanksgiving ready. It's her right now.
Tell her hi.
Recognize the song? Yeah. Explains that. No, I got to go get Thanksgiving ready, and we've got family and stuff to deal with that I'm looking forward to big time. And then haven't picked a direction to ride in other than just home. And getting home is going to be the same challenge that it was getting here. Now, I'm here to tell you that when I commit myself to something, I commit. And I honor my word, and I honor my commitment. If I say I'm going to be there, and I give you a time, I'll do absolutely anything that it takes to meet that commitment. Now here, I showed up a day later than I had originally committed to, because the weather just didn't make it possible. But I did every move I could possibly do to keep me in position to get here when the weather would allow it. And I rode an extra 600 miles beyond what my original route was, which was already 400 miles further than the most direct route. So I just simply added another 1,000 miles to what the ride was so that I could honor my commitment to be here, because it meant that much to me to be here for you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I get a lot out of this, and that's why I do it. You know, I could have picked up my bike anytime I wanted to pick up my bike, but to be here to be with you guys means enough to me that it was worth offering a commitment and honoring it. So 6
Jerry
o'clock
and
is
I
my-
have been for 2 solid days. Paco's here. Jerry goes, he's over here. And I said, no, he's not. He's over here now. Jerry goes, he's over here. So we've had our computers up for the last 2 days following you. So it was really a cool thing. Love
And
it.
I don't know if you all have access to it, but I regularly post up what my tracker information is. Anybody can track me live everywhere I go. And I'll make sure that you all have access to that. You know, sometimes it's dull. Sometimes it's fascinating. You know, sometimes it's just really interesting, you know, where you get to. And I've got the tracker information for about 20 guys that I can find them anywhere in the country that they are anytime I want to, and know where they're at and what they're up to. I'm the same way. And it's living that open life where, you know, people can find you anywhere. I've had people roll up to me and say, hey, are you Paco? And you got to answer. They're like, yeah. And they said, we found you because you're tracker. So people stalk you down.
Yeah.
It's a good thing. It's a
Yeah.
bad thing.
Yeah.
You
You were
know?
20 miles from our house in Hot Springs yesterday. That was
Yeah,
pretty
and
cool.
I did everything I could possibly do to avoid ice,
Yeah.
avoid real sloppy roads. I can ride through rain as well as anybody can. I can ride through heat better than most people can. Cold, not so good. Ice, Not at all. Snow, I'll do anything to avoid it. So when I saw it coming, I ducked and I ran and I stayed south, and then I nearly ran right into it in Shreveport because it was snowing in Shreveport. And then I turned and I went back west to avoid it because I knew it was in front of me. So I went back through Arkansas that was so iced in the previous day that there were 24 massive big rig wrecks on the route that I was on, that the day before was undrivable, but now I'm going through it. And then I made it to Haiti, Missouri, just in time for the roads to start freezing again, and got safe, but then took off this morning excited to be here and committed to be here for a time that I started a little early, and I was started in the sloppy rain, a little bit slick road and icy, and for the first 2.5 hours it was just patchy ice, and nobody likes that. I don't like that at all, and my hands are cold, I'm freezing, and then for the next 8 hours it barely got out of the 30s. And I didn't stop, seek shelter, have a meal break, didn't do anything, just kept rolling so I could be here when I committed to be here. And I got here shivering,
Yeah,
cold.
you were here.
Yes, but I got here as I committed to be here because that's important to me to support this riders group that is supported like nothing else I've ever seen. So I'm just part of that. And if I can be half as reliable as my bike, that's a good thing. That's a very, very good thing. 211,000 miles
Wow.
on the original belt. I don't know when they recommend that you change it, but I know it ain't that far. The original pulley, the original pistons, rings, seals, cams, cam guides, primary, transmission. Not a single adjustment in the engine has ever been made. This is exactly the way it was tightened and run at the factory, is the way it rolled right in here today. The only thing that has ever stopped me from moving was I snapped a clutch cable at 185,000 miles.
Wow.
Well, guess what? Cables quit at some point. Not the brake cable, that's holding up fine. But the clutch cable gave out. And do you know that at 185,000 miles, it was still under warranty?
Mm-hmm.
There's another big motorcycle company that's real big in V-twins. You try cashing that claim in. Good luck, you let me know how that goes. They replaced both of my saddlebags because they spider cracked. I overloaded them. I rode on some of the worst roads that you could possibly traverse over. I did 600 miles on gravel, pothole gravel. I broke them. I admitted that. And they said they shouldn't have broke. And they warranty claimed them. 2 brand new saddlebags.
Wow.
I know people with a Harley Davidson that they completely disintegrated and they wouldn't honor the claim. It's not my experience. Indian said that my front wheel bearings, when they went at 91,000 miles, were already 31,000 miles beyond their expected life. But because it failed, they would warranty it. Because it's consistently not a wear item. It's not a consumable. Even though it wears out, it's not a consumable. They would warranty it. And while they're at it, they rebuilt my fork seals, which are consumable, which are a wear item, but they thought they probably shouldn't have failed. At 91,000 miles. After the bugs that I'd been in, I'm surprised they lasted that long.
Yeah.
And they warranty claimed them. What more could I possibly want from them?
Yeah.
And the warranty claim process? No argument, no fight. You put it in. Once in a while, they'll deny it. And then they give you a phone number to call. You get to call these 12 people. There are 12 people sitting in a room somewhere in Minnesota who get to your claim. And when you call them up and you tell them what your issue is, it's their job to keep you happy. How do you think they do that? They say yes.
Yeah.
You're nice to them, you're reasonable with them, and they say yes to you. I don't know any other company that'll do that in a warranty. I own a Toyota truck. They're not that nice to me. And it's durable, but it ain't durable like this. And you telling me that Polaris, who builds these really, really awesome looking machines, built something this durable? It's unquestionably the strongest V-twin motorcycle in the world. Nobody has ever built one this good. Polaris doesn't even know how good they built them. I asked them when the clutch is going to fail, and they said, we don't know. We've never had a normal use wear out failure. There have been clutches that have failed. I understand they have. People have replaced them. But normal use wear out, when do they fail? You know, how many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Roll? They don't know. Because nobody has the patience or tolerance to lick that hard. Three. Yeah, that's the answer. Yeah, 3. Well, apparently, at 211,000 miles, there's no significant wear on that clutch. I don't even know how that's possible. What space age material did they make this thing out of that it lasts that long? And then people say, I run Lucas oil. I run AMSOIL. Good luck for you. I put that stock Indian stuff right back in there. You know why? Because oil is pretty consistent. What varies is the add pack. The stuff that they add to it that works uniquely well with their system. And there's some guy with a PhD somewhere who figured out what that clutch is made out of and what the wear materials are out of, what absorbs and what doesn't, and what works in their machine. And you know what? They put a sticker on it that says Indian Thunderstroke 111 oil. And that's what I use. And if I can use it, was there any smoke coming out of my tailpipe? Nope. Is there any noticeable wear in the engine? Nope. It's making the same piston clack that it has made from the very beginning. And guess what? That's a design feature that's built into it.
Exactly.
You know what? And if it bothers you, run it harder. It'll clack more. If you really like that sound, take it into the desert at 120 degrees, running wide open at 114 miles an hour, pinned for more than 15 minutes because there is nobody out there to tell you what the speed limit is. Yeah. You can have it clacking like a marching band. And I did. And that was when it was barely 30,000 miles old. Do I have any significant wear at 211? Nope. Have I had an engine failure? Nope. Do I trust this bike to point me into sub-freezing weather and ride 2,000 miles to go make an appointment that's important to me? You betcha. You show me a Harley that'll do that, and I'd have bought it. I've owned a half a dozen of them, and there ain't one that'll do that. Is there a Honda Goldwing out there that's built that well? Nope. Their clutches fail, usually within 60,000 miles. You want to lose 4 hours of your life? Change the air filter. You ain't getting that 4 hours back. I don't know what they were thinking. Burying it underneath the insert fairing. Yeah. Those bikes are big and heavy and they're well engineered, yet they fail.